quote from Leon Battista Alberti, 1407 or thereabouts. We shall therefore borrow all our rules for the finishing of our proportions from the musicians, who are the great masters of this sort of numbers, and from those things wherein nature shows herself most excellent and completest. So, the number exhibited in the harmonies of music was being abstracted from music and applied to, in the Renaissance, of course, architecture, proportion, and to a large extent the cosmos itself. I mean, we have here this picture, which is from much later. I think this is Cornelius Agrippa. It's not the Vitruvian Man, it's similar, but I believe that's from Cornelius Agrippa. But the principle is the same, that the pentacle itself is a symbol of, amongst other things, the first principle of hermeneutics. Not hermeneutics, I'm sorry. The first principle of the Hermetic tradition. That which is above is like that which is below. The proportion of this line to this line is the same as the proportion of that line to that line. Proportion of 1 to 1.61 to etc, etc, etc. Known as the golden ratio, the golden proportion. If we trace it thusly, it also gives us what's known as a Fibonacci spiral. Now, these proportions, again, I think one of the things I remember Robert explained to me, he was very excited by this idea that within the pentacle itself, you can inscribe a smaller pentacle upside down, and with that one, an even smaller one, and within that one, an even smaller one. And geometrically, the rational mind can do something which no pencil ever could. We can think of the infinitesimally small. We can take that pattern down to lower than an atomic level if we want to. And likewise, we can expand it out as far as we wish. And the proportions, 1 to 1.6128, etc., etc., remain the same. The golden ratio, golden rectangles, are seen in virtually every piece of Greek architecture you could throw a stone at. The Parthenon, for example, is built very closely on the proportions of the golden rectangle. Paperback books, the proportion of the shortest side to the longest side, 1 to 1.61. It's a very pleasant visual. Credit cards, business cards, golden rectangles. Yeah. They're everywhere. The United Nations building in New York, you can picture the thing. Yeah. Very simple golden rectangle with 3 golden rectangles fitted into it. The ubiquity of this pattern is partly because architects and artists love it. It's very easy on the eye. It's also allegedly there in nature. How much it's there in nature is a matter, I think, of there's some wiggle room on that. But the Fibonacci spiral is discernible. Let's put it that way. It's discernible. How much we're making patterns and how much we're finding them is the problem. But it's discernible in things like pine cones, the growth of various shells.
Sorry.
No, please.
Saying ammonites.
Ammonites, yeah, ram's horns.
Yeah.
Yeah. All sorts of natural forms are formed according to the Fibonacci spiral. Some closer than others. And I included this is Robert's stained glass window from The Last Judgment, simply because it reminded me so much of this is a beautiful demonstration of in which energy jumps from one place to another. These are known as Chladni figures. I believe the man was called Ernst Chladni. Difficult to pronounce the name, Chladni, who in the 1700s or 1800s demonstrated that by drawing a violin bow across a certain plate, you could get iron filings or sand to show you the visual harmony of certain tones. So that sounds, when related to shapes, have this geometric property.